So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about the new Amazon Basics mechanical pencil. This is a drafting style mechanical pencil sold through Amazon's Basics sub-brand. And that brand, we've talked about it a few times here on the channel about permanent markers and some pens and stuff. And what Amazon basically does, or seems to do, is they look for popular products that are sold on Amazon and they come up with their own more affordable version. So this Amazon Basics drafting pencil sells for about $9, I think $8.95 right now. And it's basically a pretty tight match to some of the popular drafting style pencils in the category. Most closely, probably the Pentel Graph Gear 1000, which is a very popular pencil, sells for like maybe $12, $13 around there. So Amazon's coming in with a full metal body pencil, knurled grip, double knock. So the pencil, the pipe is not exposed until you knock it. And then, pretty nice styling for, maybe 2/3 the price of that Pentel. And of course, there's other models out there that this resembles. It's not like Amazon just ripped off the Graph Gear. There are many differences and many competitors, but when I see this pencil and I see the feature set, that's really the one that comes to mind. So just kind of run through some of the basic information about this pencil. Again, it's the Amazon Basics mechanical pencil. It's called the drafting pencil, sold in 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter versions. I bought it in the 0.5. We see that it has many of the common features you would associate with a drafting, like a professional use drafting pencil. So we see a adjustable lead hardness indicator here. You see it comes on HB, which is one type of lead hardness. It's also FH, 2H, 4H. So you have that. Pretty nice. This is a feature found on many professional drafting style pencils. You have an open hole top, so you can see your eraser status. Make sure you have some eraser in there. This is removable. You have an eraser, obviously. The eraser is extendable, so you could pull the eraser up in this little ferrule, and you have this full length of eraser, not just the little exposed area here. It's lacking a cleaning rod, which is disappointing, and many professional use mechanical pencils still have that, even though they're not as popular as they used to be. Then we see it has a fully metal body. So you have some sort of metal here, probably aluminum, a metal piece here, and then metal knurling, and then a metal front piece. The knurling is very smooth. It's almost like it's glossy. Like you could feel there's knurling here, but it doesn't really add anything to the grip. The knurling is definitely not of the quality you would find from a Stadler or whatever, or a Rotring or any of those brands. It is knurled, yes, and there's some grip here, but it's not the sort of grip you're going to get from a really nice knurling, even by by Platinum or Rotring or some of those other brands that are known for their nice work. Metal front piece here. It's has this nice sort of stepped design. It's chromed metal, and it doesn't look like it's absurdly high quality. The way you're looking at a Stadler like 925-35, like a very well-made $18 or $19 metal mechanical pencil, but it's definitely sufficient quality. And then you have this right here. This is blue, so it's color coordinated. And if you go with the 0.7 millimeter, then it is red. I don't believe they have a 0.35 or 0.3 or 0.9 millimeter yet. It launched with the 0.5 and 0.7. As I said before, this is a double knock style pencil. So basically, this is how you would use, it would be transported. You would knock it once or push it to expose the front area, and then you'd push it more to extend the lead. This is not an automatic pencil. There's no sort of clever anti-lead extension systems. This little pipe is not spring-loaded. It's basically just a simple or plain double knock. So you extend the lead with the button. It's a good amount of lead throw, but nothing fancy. You could push the lead back, then you give it a hard push, and it's hidden. Another hard push, and it's out. If you push too much lead out, then you do a hard push, some lead will stick out here, but it's easy enough to just push out a little bit and then hide it there. So that system, that's called a double knock, because you have to knock it once to get the pipe out and get it usable, and then you press it or you knock it to extend the lead. And this mechanism, I would say it's pretty nice. The sort of the push feel to it is accurate and relatively clean. It's a little bit like mushy, and it doesn't have a really nice mechanical feel to it. It's not like, there's no clickiness to it, but it's a nice strong spring, and it does the job. It does the job. We'll see how well it holds up. I have to admit, I've only had this pencil for maybe a week now, maybe a little bit more than a week. So I've been able to run it through its paces, but who knows how well this is gonna last. And I know some of the Amazon Basics products have been really hit and miss as of late. I think they're stationary and office supplies, things have been fine, but across the board, I don't know that Amazon Basics has been inspiring as much confidence in people as Amazon would have liked. Pencils has some weight to it, which it is metal. I'll put the specs on unsharpen.com so everyone can get that. Metal sprung steel clip works quite well. It is removable if you pull it off, but it's not, and that would be a common feature on a drafting style pencil. If you're using this at your office, you might not want the eraser on there, so a lot of drafting pencils will have a removable clip, but typically you would see, like, most people will keep it on, and it might be a little bit, I think I got it. Yeah, so it comes on and off without too many problems, and you don't scratch up the body, which is nice. And then you could just line it up, make it look cool again if you want. But it's on there pretty well. It's a good clip. I like this clip a lot. I think they did a nice job with that. It kind of looks like the clip from a Rotring. It's a really close match, but it can come on and off easier. And then aside from the Amazon Basics branding here, which I think is like printed on in this mirror coating, then you see it's made in Japan, which is a nice sign. And then that is really it for the information on here. It doesn't anywhere say this is a 0.5 or 0.7 millimeter, which would be nice to have this indicated somewhere. I think that's definitely a failing with this. I'm pretty sure I bought the 0.5 millimeter, but you could check on Amazon and see if the 0.5 is blue and the 0.7 is red, or vice versa. When I look at this lead size, to my eye, this does look like 0.5 millimeter, but it's a pretty small difference between the two. The pencil, it comes apart relatively well. You could twist this piece right here and take the front off. There's a really nice strong spring in there. If you lose the spring, you're gonna have trouble replacing it. It is nice and overbuilt. That's what gives the nice strong spring action to the double knock. So Amazon did not cheap out there. And then you can take this apart if you start to, I think you could take it apart. I had this figured out before. Maybe not. Anyway, I don't want to break it on video, so we have yet to do the writing test. There you go. It can, with a little bit of pressure, you could pull it out. You could see there's some plastic hardware in here. Here is the metal system here. It's nicely done. It's nice metal work. It's really well stepped, no problems there. You could take apart some of these components. If you do have a jam, you can untwist this and you can get at most of the pencil from a rebuildability standpoint, if that's even a word. Amazon did a pretty fine job, and you can see that this sleeve right here is brass, which is nice. A lot of companies have used plastic for this part because it's not typically something that breaks. So why not go with the plastic? But it's nice to see the brass in there if you are like looking for a pencil that's going to last over time. This piece fits together, and we should be all set. This metal piece down here, the front piece threads on relatively well. It feels a lot like the mechanical pencil sold by TWSBI. Basically, they have the precision pencil, and that sort of front area with this small piece unscrewing feels a lot like that. A lot of manufacturers will put the unscrew bit here at the body, and that makes things a little bit easier to work with. And this can unscrew here, but you could also take it apart at the front. And here's what happens if you unscrew this front piece. You get the knurling here. I don't know why you would want to remove this, But again, the tradition is that these things are completely rebuildable. I think the main advantage of this would be from a manufacturing standpoint. Amazon can swap out this blue for the red and differentiate between the two. So they have a sort of modular design, which would probably save on costs. Who knows? So do a little bit of writing and then we'll wrap it up. So this is the Amazon Basics drafting pencil. Again, no sort of anti-braking mechanisms here, no sort of twisting of the lead like a Kuratoga or a Zebra Delgard, nothing spring-loaded, nothing fancy. This is a traditional drafting style pencil with the double knock for portability. So if that's what you want, if what you want is this drafting, sorry about that, if you want a drafting style pipe here, then this is gonna be a good fit for you. But if you're using this more for writing and note-taking or just math homework, then you might want something higher tech with some anti-lead breaking provisions to it. Overall, I would say it's a pretty nice pencil. I don't feel like I'm very attached to the Amazon Basics brand, whereas when I buy a Pentel, I feel pretty good about how the pencil is going to last, or when I buy a Stadler or some of the other brands, I really do appreciate the work they put into it and the time they spent, Rotring 2 and all those other ones. With Amazon Basics, I feel like it's a good deal. $8 for this pencil is very reasonable. This is probably realistically more like a $15 or $16 pencil if it was coming from a different brand. And I really do wish we saw more double knocks available. I have many mechanical pencils that I never really take away from my desk because they have this sharp, sensitive pipe that can't be hidden. I think that's one reason people have gravitated so much towards that Pro Gear 1000. So I think Amazon really hit the nail on the head by going with a double knock, especially in a pretty, I'd say overall, good looking design like this. But it doesn't have the sort of polish or the style of some of the other existing brands that have been around for longer. It's like, I think shortcuts were taken with the knurling and this sort of like 3D anodization or whatever this is. I don't really love how it looks. It kind of takes it away from me. Even like the imprint of the Japan right here, it just looks a little bit sloppily done, and it feels like costs were cut on these sort of little niceties that you would expect to see from an $18 pencil. So, but it is a $9 pencil, so you get a lot for your money. But if it's competing against the $18 pencil, and like from a relative standpoint, it's a big difference. From an absolute standpoint, maybe you're like, hey man, I'll spend an extra $5 and I'll get the one I really want. And I know a lot of people in the enthusiast category feel like that. But basically, Amazon did a nice job here, and we'll see if the Amazon Basic mechanical pencil stands up to the test of time. But it's a pretty interesting release for now. Thanks for watching.